Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namite, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namite, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya te.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Haribol Nitai Gaur.
Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasate Gopakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasate Gopakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol Nitai Gaur, Jai Gurudev. Haribol, Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Goranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Goranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya
Gurudev.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda.
Haribo Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda.
Haribo Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Haribol Namaste. Haribol Namaste. So yung path na pinapalo natin is to purify one's consciousness. Consciousness means your awareness. Due to sa conditioning natin previously, yung awareness natin ay nakapokus sa pagsunod sa mind natin. Ngayon, may process para yung mind natin ma-purify. Yun yung process ng yoga sound, chanting the Mahamantra and engaging in devotional service. So sa spiritual life, kailangan natin mag-engage sa austerity or sacrifice. Pareho rin yun sa ginagawa ng someone who identifies himself as this body. Nag-a-undergo rin siya ng trabaho, sacrifice, austerity. Ibig sabihin ng austerity, yun yung mga work na ginagawa mo na mahirap, ayaw mo, ginagawa mo. May mga bagay kang dinideny o ina-accept para lang ma-achieve mo yung goal mo. So, ang pag-uusapan natin dito yung austerities concerning our awareness and consciousness. Kasi ang problem na nakaharap sa atin, na na-expose lahat yung bhukti-mukti syndrome. Bhukti-mukti. Enjoyment, and then you want to become free from the experience of whatever activities you did na napollute ka. Kaya gusto mo na mga liberation. Yung bhukti, enjoyment of the senses yun by following the dictates of the mind. So ngayon, sa kakapiga natin, sa katawan natin, sa isipan natin, sa paghahanap at direction ng fulfillment, and it's misdirected upon this temporary material world, another energy, matter, different from us, we are always in fear, anxiety, and we are always frustrated. And every time na may gagawin tayong solusyon o maghahanap ng solusyon, it adds again another problem. Kaya pag dumating tayo sa punto na sobra na tayong tawag nila kung burnout or sobra ka ng bugbog sarado, na distress ka, stressful yung buhay mo, biglang papasok naman yung liberation. To become free from all the material activities you did experience and you were exposed. Kaya hinto ka muna doon. Kasi nga, miserable ka eh. Gusto mo maliberate. So ngayon, mayroong mga turo or influence ng nakagisna natin ng liberation. Okay? Ano yon? Mag-engage ka sa sacrifice o kaya ihinto mo yung ginagawa mong mga gawain at mag-meditate ka, mag-focus ka sa Diyos. Kaya lang, hanggat hindi na-address yung dapat nating ma-address, which is to be established in our eternal, transcendental nature and activities related with the absolute truth of our position that we are eternally the loving servant of God and our natural activities should be rendering service to God. Kaya lang, dahil walang kaalaman na ganun, ang isang person mag-i-engage siya sa material enjoyment, tapos miserable siya, hinto siya. Dito naman siya ngayon, hinto niya lahat yon. So mag-engage naman siya sa control of the senses, likayan niya lahat yung mga nag-cause ng suffering sa kanya. But after that, babalik na naman siya uli. Bukti, mukti, bukti, mukti. Yun yung syndrome, parang pendulum. Yun yung two witches of allurement. So para ma-free tayo from this allurement, ang ibig sabihin ng allurement, na-attract ka ba? Kasi the living entity, you by nature, you will be always seeking for happiness. Kaya lang, kung wala tayong kaalaman based upon the guidance of the devotee of God, the saintly person, and God Himself, hindi natin matutumbok yung problema. Ano yung experience ng niyo lahat, tayo? Ang isang experience natin, araw-araw, lahat, anxious tayo. Anxious tayo na hindi natin makukuha yung gusto natin. At habang nandyan, anxious din tayo, baka mawala. At pag nawala, another problem. Okay? Walang katapusan yung anxiety ng mind. Kasi ang meditation natin ay nakapokus dito sa unstable, moving, temporary world. Okay? So ngayon, ano yung tinuturo sa atin? Ano yung dapat nating gawin? Kasi lahat tayo may faith pagtuo ba? Pero ang pagtuo natin or faith natin must be based upon what is absolute. Hindi lang yung faith na based upon. Kasi may faith in the mode of goodness, may faith in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance. Okay? But this faith we are discussing is about the person, you. Okay? Your relationship with God. Okay? The austerity of the body, ito si Lord Krsna, sinasabi niya kay Arjuna, the austerity of the body, sacrifice. Okay? Yung austerity, ibig sabihin nun, parang pumunta kayo parang dati nag-aaral kayo, di ba? Okay, sila yung kay mga teacher. You engage in austerities. Sacrifice ba? Magising kayo umaga, okay? Mag-budget kayo ng time nyo, budgetin nyo yung resources nyo, magme-make kayo ng effort sa buhay nyo, you make effort to engage in activities masi ayaw nyo to achieve yung goal. Yun ang sacrifice, okay? Austerity. But ang pag-uusapan natin dito, yung austerity na dapat nating makita at habang nag-i-engage tayo sa practice ng devotional service to become aware and purify our consciousness, may mga sacrifice kang gagawin din, austerities. May do's and don'ts. Okay? Kagaya ng, halimbawa, if you want to be in a stable consciousness and not be agitated, you must follow yung four regulated principles. Okay? No illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. Bakit? Kasi it takes the mind away from your relationship with God if you gamble. Okay? Tindihan niya? Pag magsugal ka, you're always anticipating. Di ba nakita niyo dyan, no? Yung loto? Lahat ng tao nag-expect, sana manalo ako. Okay? Hindi lang yun. Masisinabi na ng gumawa niyan. Alam niyo sino nag-fabricate o gumawa ng setup ng loto na yan? Number 1, gambler, advisor, yung si Atong Ang. Okay? Siya yung, head ng administration na yan ng Lotto. Siya nag-formulate niyan. Okay? Pero alam nyo, sabi ng advice niya, hintuan niya na yung pagsusugal dahil walang nananalo sa sugal. Okay galing na yun sa taong gumawa ng setup ng sugal, sinasabi niya, huwag kayo magsugal. Okay? Kasi ang purpose na naman ng Lotto to raise funds for the government. Okay? Nasasipon yung pera nyo ba? Because of what? Yung experience sa heart natin, sa katayo, yung agam-agam natin, anticipation. Baka manalo ako. Okay? Is it clear? So ngayon, ano yung mga austerity? The austerities of the body consist of this. Worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, the superiors like the father and the mother, cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, non-violence, and also austerities of the body. So meaning, we must engage in activities na hindi natin sa beginning gusto. Tapos ito pa, austerity of speech consists of speaking truthfully and beneficially and avoiding speech that offends. One should also recite the Vedas regularly. So yun yung ginagawa natin gabi-gabi rito. You recite the Vedas, you chant the holy names, and serenity. Kalmado ka ba? Serene. Alam mo yung serene? Kalmado. Simplicity. Simple ka lang ba? Ibig sabihin yung needs mo, hindi yung wants, kundi yung needs lang talaga. You eat to live, hindi yung live to eat. Alam mo yung difference? Kumakain ka lang para mabuhay yung katawan. Yung buhay mo, hindi ka nabubuhay para kumain ng kumain. Okay? Kasi kung ganon, you will be over-endeavoring to get more material things. Your life becomes complex. Complex ba? Ibig sabihin, komplikado. Self-control and purity of thought are austerities of the mind. So yung process ng Bhakti Yoga is to purify the mind. Kasi yung mind natin is so much, yung mind natin parang sa computer, yung database ba, nandun lahat yung desire. Kasi through the experience natin sa senses, lahat na nakikita natin, it's all registered in the mind. And when you're under the influence of the modes of material nature, at by nature, the living entity tayo, where tawag sa atin, ananda, o ananda, seeker of pleasure. Kaya ang tendency, if you identify yourself as this body, immediately, lalagan ka kaagad ng mind, sa thoughts mo, lalabas agad yun. At under the influence ng modes of material nature, yun ang magiging pursuance mo o yung gagawin mo para matikman yung fruits ng happiness na nasa mind mo. Okay? Either eating, ano bang gusto mong kainin? Gusto mong kumain na matamis? Gusto mong kumain na maasim, mapait? Okay? Depende sa modes. O gusto mong kumain ng bulok kung nasa mundo of ignorance ka. Para yung ginagawa nila nakita niyo sa Baguio, yung mga igorot, papatay nila yung kalabaw, sacrifice sila, ilulubog nila, hindi man nila kakainin agad yun. Pabulukin muna nila. Pagkabulok na, nandun yung mga uod, sa kanila, hiwain yun, lutuin, ilaga. Okay? Yun yung mga activities na sa ignorance. Yung passion naman, iba, sensual enjoyment. Pero dito natin makikita, how can we be able to be serene? Kalmado ba? Serenity ba? Alam mo yun? Nakita niyo yung halimbawa yung violin, yung serene na music? Okay? Di ba? Mode of goodness. Narinig naman niyo yung tugtugan ng yung tik-tok-tok, yun na lang, para hindi masyadong kasi hindi naman kayo pinanganak sa panahon ng rock and roll, ng hard rock. Okay? Nasa panahon kayo ng tik-tok-tok. Okay? Ayan, di ba? So, yun ang ginagawa ng lahat. Karamihan, di ba? Nakita niyo yun? Yung focus nila, meditation nila, Pag sinabi ng mind, malungkot ka, uy, kailangan ko ng what? Kailangan ko ipakita para ano? Why? Para makita nila kung anong meron ka. Kasi naghanap ka ng ano ng para in a sense parang bigyan ka ng palakpak o kaya magaling ka. Ha? Gusto mo ma-experience yung, kagaling mo. Sumayaw, okay? Di ba nakikita niyo sila? Minsan nagdadaan ako masisaan. Noong una nakikita ko mga bata lang. Pero habang tumatagal, nakita ko pati matanda. Lahat, nagtituktok. Ano yan? Sabi ko, why? Kung simple lang yung buhay mo, okay? You are in focus of your relationship with God. You will be the witness of your mind, your intelligence, and then you will be able to see what drives you away from this focus. It is the influence of the mind, the desire, and the promise of enjoyment. Okay? Kaya hindi nyo nakita kung ang person satisfied within, hindi niya kailangan palakpakan siya. Hindi niya kailangan ipakita. Kasi satisfied within Yun yung person who is practiced in meditation at ang focus niya ay yung relationship niya with the Supreme Person. Lahat nagkakagulo dyan, okay? Ibig sabihin ng gulo, hindi lang naman gulo, nagpapatayan mga tao, nagbabangayan, kagaya ngayon, malapit na election, di ba? Lahat nagmamadslinging, okay? Lahat kakalkalin yung kung ano yung mga mabaho, kung ano yung dapat, okay? Lahat nagsisiraan, okay? So ikaw, as a spirit soul na nagpa-practice nito, ng process na to, nasa path ka wherein you will be able to transcend the influence of the modes of material nature because of the process given to us by our spiritual master, devotional service. What is devotional service? Ibig sabihin nun, yung devotion mo, yung focus mo, ay konektado sa kagustuhan ng Diyos. Itong ginagawa ng lahat, kagustuhan ng material nature, influence ng passion. Kaya nga, it's so embarrassing, So embarrassing ginagawa nila. Mas nakakahiya ba? Kasi nga, gusto nilang parang palakpakan, okay? Maging katanggap-tanggap. Para bang, kung anong sabi ni may asim pa sila. Okay? Alam niyo yan? Ibig sabihin, may asim pa ako. Okay? Pakita ko sa inyo kung gaano ako kaasim. Okay? Kaya sasayaw sila ron. Pakita nila yung bilbil nila. Okay? Kaya lang, gagawa sila ng paraan na parang yung video nila may beauty. Yung beauty, alam niyo yung beauty? Masipangit, nagiging maganda. O kaya, copy-paste nila na ayusin muna nila. Di ba? So, yun ang gusto nila ipakita. Look what I've got. Okay? So, paano ka na-entice ni Maya? Through your senses. Okay? So, ang description ng devotee, as someone who is in yoga or in practice, yung someone who is succeeding, he's like a tortoise. Example nun. He's able to withdraw his senses. Kaya pag nakita mo, immediately automatic yun sa mind mo nandun yung enjoyment ng according sa moods. Okay? Ngayon, either mag-dwell ka ron, mag-daydream ka doon, saka ka meditate sa mga bagay na walang katotohanan. Sa isipan lang. Kasi hindi naman totoo lahat yun. Mangyayari yun kung wala kang higher taste. Yung awareness mo nakapokus dito sa mundo na to at yung understanding mo, ikaw yung recipient ng happiness. Naging fruitive worker ka. Ano yung fruitive worker? Ibig sabihin, gagawa ka ng isang bagay, yung fruits ikaw makakatikim. Okay? Ngayon, pag dumating tayo sa path ng Bhakti Yoga, maintindihan natin na yung palang sacrifice na gagawin natin is an offering to God. Okay? Kasi yun yung natural function natin to offer our service to God. Ngayon, it doesn't matter kung ano man yung abilities natin, but under the guidance of the spiritual master, He will guide us. Okay. According to our tendencies. Kung ano yung kaaya-aya sa inyo. Halimbawa, magaling kang musician, so ang mangyayari nun, doon mapupunta yung service mo. You will be composing songs, making nice parang tune to glorify God. Okay? Halimbawa, cook ka, magaling ka magluto, may bakery ka. So gagawa ka ng mga pastries, pagkain to offer to God. Okay? Ngayon kung wala ka naman sa ganung sitwasyon, very simple yung buhay mo, pwedeng, halimbawa, you're a mother, okay? Ang mangyayari, if you have children, you can raise your children to be focused and be directed with the relationship with God. Yun ang buhay mo ba? And it's based upon your offering of devotion to the Supreme Person. Your love, your mind, your heart, everything. Okay? Yung austerity na dapat nating self-control. You must be able to direct your life. Ibig sabihin nun, yung awareness mo, you must be with clarity kung sino ka. Kasi until and unless hindi mo alam kung sino ka, ano mangyayari sa'yo? Wala ka patutunguhan dahil hindi mo alam kung sino ka eh. Hindi mo alam kung saan pupunta. Okay? Purity of thoughts. Kaya nga sinasabi sa atin na yung holy names, God Himself, who is transcendental, not touched by these modes of material nature, He comes as the holy names. Yung Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna and Rama. Ang ano nun, Krishna, God is all attractive because He possesses all attractive qualities. He's the most munificent, renowned, the most beautiful, the cause of all causes. He's the Lord of love. He is our unconditional friend eternally. He's so attractive because He's the Lord of love. And we're seeking the experience of a loving relationship. Now, with spiritual wisdom coming from the saintly person, we can now understand na yung love pala natin, which is inseparable from us, which is the source of happiness and joy, is na due to conditioning natin with this material world and the influence of the modes of material nature is misdirected. Kaya hindi tayo masaya kasi dahil hindi natin clearly naintindihan kung sino tayo na misdirect natin yung search for happiness through this temporary material world. Kaya we become servant of the senses, the mind, and ang ginagawa natin, araw-araw, we're always anxious to taste yung fruits ng activities natin. Everything you do, it's all about you. Para matikman mo yung ginawa mong sacrifice or whatsoever to taste the fruits according sa influence ng modes of material nature. So austerities of the mind, we must be able to redirect the mind. But how can we redirect the mind when we identify ourselves as this body? Okay? So there is a process wherein we engage in purification to purify us from this material conditioning. Ano yung material conditioning? We are able to understand clearly our true transcendental nature, that we are a different energy from matter. Then absolutely and definitely, hindi tayo sasaya. Masaya anong gawin mo? Dead end na eh. Dead end na ba? Alam mo, parang ginagawa mo, sinusubukan mong kumuha ng ng grano, binabayo mo yung ipa na wala ng laman. Walang laman ba? Alam niyo yung ipa ng palay? Nandun ka, binabayo mo, naghihintay ka lumabas yung grain, yung grain ng rice. Wala. Kasi wala naman talaga doon. Kasi nga, you are a different energy from matter. Is it clear? Your awareness. Dead matter. Oh. So yung process natin, we chant, we're given this process in Kali Yuga, that chanting of the holy name. So yung chanting ng holy names, Lord Krishna himself appeared in Shastra, in Navadvip, 500 years ago, the Lord came here, but not manifesting yung what Lord Krishna manifested during the time He came 5,000 years ago. Pinakita niya that He's the Supreme Person. Here, He's playing the role of a devotee. Okay? Like an ordinary person. But His focus is to follow the instruction of His spiritual master to pass on the holy names of God. Because by nature, we're all seekers of happiness, and the holy names is not different from God, and it is the source of happiness. Kaya when we worship Lord Chaitanya, you see Nitai Gaur, the worship we do is simply sing the holy names of Lord Krishna through their ears. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, all glories to Krishna, all the names and glories of Krishna, because that is the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya, because He is in the mood of loving remembrance, in the mood of Radha and Krishna. Yun ang ma-offer natin sa Kanya. To chant the glories of God. Kasi yun ang process. Ganun lang kasimple. Sa mundo na to, ang problem natin is we speak unnecessarily, talking unnecessarily. Ibig sabihin nun, when you meet someone, immediately bubukas yung bibig mo. Ba. Ikatabi mo na, ba. Maski magkasama na nga kayo buong araw, ha? Hindi kayo humihinto mag-usap. Mayroon akong nakita mga tao, alam mo, hindi ka makapasok. Nagsasalita. Gusto mong sabihin something, hindi pwede. Walang lal. Parang, gusto mong sabihin, wala. She's running her tongue. She's running by the tongue. Yung tongue niya ba, hindi niya makontrol. So sa spiritual life, sa practice, we must engage in austerity to control the tongue. Okay? To redirect the mind. And not to speak nonsense. And the best process is the glorification of the holy names of God. And the tongue can be controlled. The urge to speak. Kasi lahat tayo gusto magsalita. Yung urge ba? Okay? The urge of the mind. Your mind is always thinking, willing. Okay? So how can you redirect it kung na-engage tayo sa disease ng materialism at yung syndrome na bukti-mukti. Wala tayong patutunguhan. Kaya magtataka ka, yung mga nag-engage sa practice na to, ang hirap at karamihan di nagsasucceed. Kasi nga, dahil hindi natin sinunod yung instruction ng saintly person. To engage in austerities, sacrifice, to be able to control the mind, the senses, and redirect our life, and focus upon our relationship with God. Yung desire to enjoy talagang matindi. Kasi when one is in lust, identifying himself as the body, and ang focus niya is to find fulfillment in the wrong direction, sensual enjoyment, because she's thinking or he's thinking is the body, yun ang nagiging focus ng buhay niya. Kaya from there, he will always be in a situation wherein his mind is very turbulent. Alam yung turbulent? Parang alon ba? Diba? Turbulent. Nakita nyo yung ilog pag, okay, yung washing machine na lang, pag nag-spin, may bangka doon. Di ba? Turbulent. So yung serenity comes from activities when you're living simply. Simplicity. You only take what is given to you by God. Because on the absolute sense, you have a certain amount of good karma and bad karma. And a certain amount of happiness that you will experience. Di ba kaya nagtataka tayo kung minsan tinatanong natin, kung wala tayong tamang relationship at understanding, kagaya ng nakikinig tayo sa mga taong walang kaalaman sa spiritual science, at yung halimbawa, yung idea na lang ng God made this world for us to enjoy. Okay? Ngayon, ang tanong, nag-enjoy ka nga ba talaga? Isa pa yan, di ba? Ngayon, halimbawa, kung ginawa ng Diyos itong mundo na to para mag-enjoy tayo, bakit kailangan mawalay tayo sa mga minamahal natin? Ba't kailangan mag-struggle tayo? Kailangan tayong maka-experience ng birth, death, disease, old age. Kung enjoyable ba talaga itong lugar na to? Okay. So, hindi pa yon. Dahil sa relationship natin ng fruitive worker tayo, lahat ng ginagawa natin, gusto natin may kapalit. Kaya nag-engage ka sa activities at sa consciousness mo, laging may kapalit. At kung ang relationship mo sa Diyos ay gusto mong laging sundin yung gawin niya yung gusto mo, pag hindi niya ginawa, anong mafe-feel mo? Magagalit ka. So, ibig sabihin nun, wala ka sa transcendental world. Kasi yung transcendental world is not touched by the three modes of material nature. Kaya nga, ang suggestion sa atin ni Saint Prabhupada, one must be guided by someone who has no material consideration. Ano yung material consideration? It is the influence of the three modes of material nature. Makikita nyo sa sarili nyo yan, tayo lahat. But, sa struggle natin, parang insurmountable. Kaya lang, dahil promise ng Supreme Person, if you just surrender unto me, follow your spiritual master, be my guide, okay? Just give everything up and I will protect you. Then you can cross over this ocean of misery, itong material nature na to. Kasi when a person is in this material world and not connected with or in harmony with yoga or devotion to God, or he's not protected. Protected means you're not doing the will of God. You have your own will. Then you're a living dead. Kaya makita nyo yun eh. It's a struggle na nakikita nyo araw-araw. You wake up in the morning, you eat breakfast, you go to work, then in the evening, you sleep. Day on, every day, till the time you leave the body. Pero Maya is very strong. Kaya nga, yung mukti is the desire for sensual pleasure. And when you are so much in lust, you will be burning. You will be so much in a situation where you lose your intelligence because you're angry already. You don't know the direction you're heading in. Kaya ito yung austerity na dapat natin i-practice araw-araw. Kaya you come to the temple, you come here to listen, to bring your body, to bring your body. Okay? The reason you bow down, because this body is made out of matter, it belongs to God. You're offering it to God. Okay? Now, the body, the venue, okay? This field of activity, alam mo, I should use this in the service of God. Kaya you bow down to be focused and to be sheltered and to be guided, to be praying, please protect me. Yun ang purpose kaya ka nagbabow down. To be connected with God. Hindi dahil nagbow down ka sa ritual, dahil nandito ka sa Madana Mohana Academy. Okay? then makikita mo, it dawns upon you na, o nga no, for so long I've been the servant of this body, pero now I will bow down, use my head, okay? I will use my ear to listen, okay? To listen, to hear sound that will purify my heart. I will control my tongue. Because if you cannot control your tongue, halimbawa, you speak nonsense, sino una makakarinig? Halimbawa, mag-speak ka ng nonsense. Ikaw, nagsalita ka ng kabalbalan. Sino unang matatapunan ng ano? Ikaw, kasi ikaw yung una eh. Pag anong lumabas sa bibig mo, ikaw may makakarinig. Okay? Kaya lang, dahil sa experience natin dito sa material world, lahat ng kabalbala na sa utak natin. Yung database na yan. Kaya pag nakaupo ka, para kang, alam mo yung tawag nilang, alam mo yung gano'n, no? Ano yan? Roller coaster. Nakaupo ka, tahimik. Okay? Mapapansin man nyo rito, di ba may bata dito? Bata, Chaitanya, okay? She's attracted. Pero pag nakaupo siya, it will manifest through the senses. Tatayo, gagalaw, hindi makaano. Okay? Kasi yung mind is so turbulent. Kaya nga sabi ni Arjuna, my dear Lord Krishna, it seems that, kasi Arjuna is a mystic, he's a great, powerful warrior. Okay? He's the son of King Indra. Okay? King Indra, the king of heaven. And he's always with Lord Krishna. They're always together, okay? Sabi niya, kasi dumating siya sa point na nilagay siya ni Lord Krishna na sa situation na he's confused. At nag-make siya ng choice na hindi niya na kaya. Although he's so powerful, and he's so strong, he's strong-willed lahat, okay? Naguluhan siya because of Krishna. Nilagay siya sa situation na ganon to be an example kung anong gagawin. So, sa naguluhan siya, sabi niya, Lord Krishna, I'm so much confused and perplexed. Please accept me as your disciple. Okay? So, si Arjuna, siya yung instructing spiritual master natin who have heard the teachings of Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna, the Song of God. Kaya yun ang ginaguide natin. Kasi yung isang person na confused, now he's not confused anymore. He's with wisdom through hearing. Kaya yung austerity ng hearing, we must hear the glories of God. Kaya yung science na binigay sa atin ni Lord Chaitanya ng mga close associate niya, ni Rupa Goswami, ay to be able to control the urge to speak. Pero kung titignan nyo, yung whole teaching ni Lord Chaitanya, yung 8 prayers niya, nandun na lahat. Kaya, ang focus lang talaga natin is the chanting of the glories of God. None other, okay? And there's no hard and fast rule. Walang hard and fast rule. Anyone can chant the glories of God and experience purification. So lahat ito, serenity, magiging kalmado ka when you are illuminated within. Okay? You're illuminated within and you are transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature because you are now the witness and yung buhay mo, it's connected in harmony with the will of God. And what is that all about? Devotional service. Kaya wala man tayo sa stage na ganon, so ang spiritual master natin gives us a process or the practice of devotional service because practice makes one perfect. Okay? Dati, ang exposure natin ay sensual enjoyment. Kaya miserable tayo. We're in the world of dead matter. Living entity, me, I'm trying to model, alam mo yung model? Lumalangoy ako sa another energy. Sinusubukan kong pigain through the senses. Okay? Kaya wala kang satiation of the heart. Wala kang peacefulness. Wala. Kasi nag-identify ka sa moving world. Okay? Serenity, kalmado ka. Simplicity, gravity, grave ka ba? Alam mo yung grave? Serious ka ba? The spiritual master is always grave. Lahat ng ginagawa mo with gravity ba? May pundasyon. Grave ka ba? Because it's based upon the teachings of God. Hindi ka lilipad, hindi ka rin, may pundasyon ng buhay mo. Okay? Self-control. You're able to control, make the right decision based upon your transcendental nature as eternally the servant of God. So now you can harness this material energy made out of matter to use it in the service of God. Kaya yung 9 process ng devotional service is devotional service in practice. Ginagawa natin. Hearing. So from hearing, you become purified. From hearing, your heart becomes purified. Okay? And from hearing wisdom that is eternal, related with you, you can now be guided in the right direction. Dati kasi ang nag-guide sa atin yung modes eh. Kung nasa mode of ignorance ka, tulog ka ng tulog. Mamaya, nasa mode of passion ka naman. Enjoyment of the senses. Sa sobrang kaguluhan, gusto mo naman ng kalma. Okay? Bhukti, mukti, bhukti, mukti, bhukti, mukti. Kasi by nature, you will be active. Yun ang spirit soul. Active ka by nature. Hindi ka pwedeng hindi maging inactive. Kasi yun ang, isang quality ng soul. Living. May buhay. Active. Okay? Ang question, where will your activities be directed? Okay? Kaya yun yung yoga, harmony. Kaya kung naghanap ka ng harmony, peacefulness sa heart mo, then you must be able to redirect the mind. You must be able to engage in the practice that will connect you with the source of happiness. Not from the source ng mind, yung desire na nandun. Kasi alam mo, hindi totoo yun. Once you get it, it's gone. Para makapag-enjoy ka lang, to follow isang bagay, you have to work very hard. It takes your time, yung energy, and the energy that not belong to you. It belongs to God. Kaya yung person, he has purity of thought and austerities of the mind. Okay? He just watches. It's like watching a movie. Kasi madali lang malaman you're not the mind. Nakapanood na mga ng TV. Dati kasi may mga TV kayo sa bahay, di ba? Hindi naman cellphone. Ngayon, nanonood kayo sa YouTube. Halimbawa, ilagay natin sa TV sa bahay, nanonood kayo lahat. Biglang mamaya, di ba karamihan ng mga sa TV, talagang i-hype kayo na talagang malapit na niya makamtan ang tagumpay. Okay? Tapos biglang commercial. Di ba? So kayo, commercial, palitan nyo yung commercial, palitan natin. Dito muna tayo sa kabila. Okay? So you can change your mind. You can watch your mind. You can say no to your mind. Just like watching a TV. Okay? Pero iba yung someone who identifies himself as the body and the mind. Pag halimbawa, nanood ka ng sine. Halimbawa, ngayon kasi wala ng sine. Di ba? Dati sa sine, nakaupo lahat. Okay? Nanonood sa telon. Alin yung telon? Yung silver screen. Tapos may projector sa likod. Lahat nanonood ba? They get so much immersed. Okay? Sa sobrang sentiment nila, akala nila, nandun na sila sa loob ng screen na yon. Kaya pag yung nakikita nila yung halimbawa, mga telenovela, di ba? Mga talagang tear-jerking. Ano yung tear-jerking? Yung talagang nakakaiyak na parang sinisipa. Ano? Talagang umiiyak ka ba? Talagang kawawa siya. You begin to identify with the movie. Okay? Akala mo doon ka. You're now the actor na doon. Okay? Ganun yung mind eh. Tapos pagtagal, nandyan na siya. Kailangan maprotektahan siya. Yung mga tao tumatayo sa sine. Alam niyo? Sumisigaw. Nandyan na siya! Okay? Kasi nag-merge na sila doon eh. Okay? Hindi na niya? So ngayon, itong body natin, parang cheddar din to eh. You watch it ba? Okay? Can you understand what I'm trying to tell? Ngayon, kung hindi tayo in harmony with what is transcendental, the will of God, the wish of God, then we will be identifying with the source of suffering. Okay? We will not be connected with the transcendental world of devotion and service. Is it there? Is it? Mahirap ba maintindihan? Okay? So ito, serenity, kalmado ka, simplicity, simple living, okay? Gravity, very grave ka. Kasi dapat serious ka eh. Okay? Very serious ka. At yung seriousness mo, hindi lang dahil naniniwala ka, but based upon spiritual tenets or based upon the success of the saintly person. Following the footsteps of the saintly person and following the will of God, you'll be protected. Or else, you'll be directed by your mind. You may be, kasi ganito yan eh. Alam nyo, yung science na to, pwedeng malayong-malayo kayo sa spiritual master natin. Physically, malayo kayo. But you'll be very close if you follow his teaching. Okay? Pwedeng nasa, kagaya ng, may napapansin ko, may mga devotees, 4 sila eh. They're so happy engaging in the service of Krishna. At ang ginagawa nila ay kabutihan para sa kapakanan ng lahat. Okay? They're very happy. Araw-araw, yun lang ginagawa nila. Okay? But they're very far. Parang nandito ang spiritual master natin sa kabilang side ng globe, nandito sila. Pero they're very close. How? By doing the will of God, following the instruction of the spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is the Lord from the outside. Because in the beginning, you cannot hear the Lord within. Okay? But through reading scripture, listening from the spiritual master, you become aware because of purification. You become aware. You become purified. You're able to hear the Lord within the heart. That whatever you read, it's confirmed by the Lord within the heart. Your spiritual master speaks, you're connected with him. Okay? So when he gives you this path, this process, the sacrifice of Sankirtan Yajna, you may be, your spiritual master may be 10,000 miles away and you may be here. But because you're connected with this instruction, you're under the lotus feet of God. Is it clear sa inyo? But yung isang person naman, nandyan lang yung spiritual master, nandyan lang sa tabi niya. Pero that person is manifesting something that completely not in harmony with the teachings of God. At ano yung manifestation na yon? Duplicity, anger, cruelty, lust, okay? Cheating, okay? Nandyan siya. So meaning, association with the spiritual master and God is should be in harmony with their heart's desire. Okay? Yun ang connection mo. Kaya yun din yung protection mo. And this person who's there is under the influence of lust and the mind. She's not there. She may be physically together with the spiritual master, but she's not there. Because you cannot read by his fruit. Okay? Because action speaks louder than words. Okay? You talk about spiritual life, but your activities is based upon cruelty, based upon this anger, retribution, making people suffer. Okay? Your anger is manifested towards others. It means you're angry at God. Because if you're angry at one person, even though you don't know that person, and that person is a child of God, in a truest sense, you're angry at God. Okay? And you're not able to see it when you're in lust. Kaya you see, it's not an easy path because this path will be based upon you making the decision to be in harmony with the will of God. And for so long, you've been conditioned to do your own will. But in that situation, you're alone. You're helpless. Okay? You're helpless. So what do you do? What do these people do? They just close their eyes. They're just like the ostrich. Danger is there. They burrow their head sa ilalim ng lungga. Walang death dyan, walang wolf, okay? Ang rabbit, nandyan ang danger, ipipikit niya yung mata niya, okay? Wala ang bad wolf. Okay? Kaya the truth will set you free if you apply the process. Because the process will purify you from discovering, from the influence of the three modes of material nature, and now you can make the decision to make a choice, the right choice, in the right direction, to be in harmony with what you're looking and searching. Your desire to experience shelter, love, and having a relationship eternally with a friend who loves you unconditionally, Lord Krishna. Intindihan mo? So that's all. Let's continue again tomorrow. You have any question? Naintindihan mo, Anantadas? How about you, Murari Das? Naintindihan mo yung gusto ko sabihin? Rama, is it clear sa'yo? So ngayon, ang question, the knowledge is there. Okay? There is a saying, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Halimbawa, sinasabi ko sa inyo, okay, may cake ako rito hindi devil's cake pero may mga cake pangalan devil's cake Chocolate yun talagang puro dark. Nanay ko gumagawa parati ng devil's cake, okay? Pero ito, Krishna's cake, okay? Sabi ko, okay, there's this cake, made of pistachio nut, honey, ang daming, lahat ng klaseng nuts nandun, okay? Sabi ko, ang sarap ba yan ito? Okay? Organic. Nakikita mo lang, nakatingin ka, unsa man na, ngano itum na. Okay? Sabi mo, sarap ito. Okay? So the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So, sinasabi ko sa iyo to, na when you come to the point of realizing who you are, and you're connected with a transcendental world, connected with your transcendental nature, you will be free. Okay? So dapat, you'll experience it. Parang sinasabi ko, marami mang honey dyan sa loob, di ba? Makita niyo yung honey dyan, galon-galon. O ngayon, halimbawa, may honey dala si Bala, okay? Sabi ko, si Bala nagdala ng organic honey. Kita mo yellow, unsa ka na, di ba? Murag tuba man. Ihi ka na, di ba? Lami ba yan tamis ka yan okay? Abrihan ako okay? Tilawan mo. Sa paligid ka lang man. Alam niyo yung bee? Yung bee, nakita niya yung honey, hindi, parang yung bee, tinitik mo lang yung yung bote. hindi mo binuksan. Okay? So wisdom, the truth will set you free. Free from what? From suffering. From a disconnection with all the failures, all the misery you're experiencing. Because you will now understand that you are a different energy from matter. You are the witness. Okay? But definitely, because you're encumbered in this body, you will experience yung experience ng suffering ng body. But you will not identify with the suffering. You will say, my body is suffering, okay? My body is sick. Hindi mo say, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm dying. No, you're not dying, okay? You're leaving the body, okay? I'm dying. Don't let me die. Hey, kid, you don't die. Your body will die. Okay? Is it clear sa inyo? The science, when you see it, when there's light, you see everything. When you're with Krishna, then wherever there is Krishna, there will always be victory. Okay? Gusto nyo magtagumpay sa buhay nyo, sa lahat ng gusto nyo, then Krishna must be by your side. Is it clear? So, Haribol, namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Narande, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Narande, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Sate Govaka Vrinda.
Radha Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Sate Govaka Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Everyone.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Goranga,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Krishna.
Jaya Jaya Goranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine. Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
All of us say